was to maintain those canyons so that we could do the different types of live fire simulations and different types of activities in those canyons. So the short answer is yes, we'll be doing that after we get everything completed. Yes?
We have a time frame with the standalone home.
Time frame on the standalone homes is once we build the infrastructure to them, at that point we can start building. But for us building them ourselves, because a number of those lots we own. I think there's approximately 20 that other members have already secured from the early days, and then they would be building their own. So it'll be right around that same time that we're doing the RV development, then that's when we would look for the standalone homes. Yes, in the back.
What are some of the ways that we can use our credits going forward?
What are some of the ways you can use your credits going forward? The best way you can use your credits going forward would be to turn them in for ownership once everything is done. You'll get the best bang for your buck on that in terms of your percent of ownership with the company. Currently, you can use your credits for background checks, membership transfer fees, pro shop purchases. But once the facility is completed, there will be a number of other opportunities for you to use those credits, and there will be other avenues within the resort to use those credits. So they will continue to be accessible for you to use, but I'm just telling you the best value long-term would be when you're given the opportunity to trade all that in for ownership percentage in the company. That's when you want to use all of that. And that, let me add one more thing to that. Every time I send you something that allows you to double everything on your account, you should take advantage of it. Especially those of you who've already amassed a large amount of credits, memberships, and certificates, because that doubling gives you great advantage over everybody else. And what I'm trying to do when you see me sending you these opportunities is, the most loyal, the most supportive, the people that come up to me and say, I've taken advantage of everything that you've ever offered. This is my way of saying thanks, because ultimately I would like those members who have done the most to be able to get the most when it's time to trade everything in. So when I give you an opportunity at a very small amount to double everything that you have, it gives you huge advantage over everybody else. Yes? Do you have another question?
I'm just looking for a little bit more detail as far as what kind of things that can be used for once the resort's done, what those credits can be used for as well.
Well, you're asking for more specifics on what all the credits can be used for. There'll be things that we create out there in terms of ancillary services and activities that will allow you to use credits for. A good example is right now, don't we have the sub-gun shoot at lunchtime when you come out, and we allow you to use your credits for that, correct?
Right.
Okay. So there'll be a lot of different things like that you'll be able to use the credits for. We haven't created them yet, so I can't tell you what they are.
Okay.
But ultimately, when you come out the front side, when everything's done, you're going to be very, very glad to spend as much money as you possibly can out there, because we're going to give you opportunities to do things that you can't do anywhere else in the world. But you're not going to have enough time to do everything the first time you come out there. For example, if you come out for a 4-day course and there's 20 different unbelievable things that you can do during lunchtime and at night, and you only have 4 days, how many of those are you going to get to do? Not all 20, but you're going to see all of them going on, and you're going to say, I got to come back and do this or do that. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of wild things that we can do out there, from the helicopter stuff to the Navy SEAL attack vehicle stuff to tanks to all kinds of things that will make it not only fun but exciting. And where else are you going to do that? So those types of things you'll be able to use some of the credits for. There's a lot of stuff that will be going on once it's all built and you're there as a captive audience over a 4 or 5 day and night period. We're going to keep you busy. And like I said, you're going to enjoy participating, and you're going to be happy to pay for it. And some of those things you'll be able to use your credits for, and some of them you'll just pay regular money for, and that's where all the income is generated. Okay? Yes.
Will the villas or hotel rooms have a kitchen facility in them?
Yeah, all of the villas have a kitchen facility. We just don't want you cleaning your guns in the sink, okay? I'm telling you that right now. Okay, anything else? Yes.
I was curious about, if it would be possible to have a way to set up one-site accounts, both your memberships and credits, and like gun rentals and stuff like that.
I didn't,
Create an account, that way, once you say like sell the account, they can log into that username, that password, stuff like that.
I'm not really following the line of questioning there.
It'd be like, create an account that you can sell. You have a front site name and password, and that's how you have your account. Load in the membership into it, credits into it.
And then sell it to somebody else.
Stuff like that. That way you have a package.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Sell that package, like you sell packages.
Right.
And that way they can just, once they receive the certificate, it has the username, it has the password.
Okay,
go in.
the question is, I get it now. The question is, would there be a possibility of us to allow you to create accounts that you could put a membership or certificate or credits or whatever you wanted into it, and then that's what you sell to somebody, and then it's now their account, and it would have name and a membership. The only issue I see with that is that they have to have their own name and their own password and their own, to be in our system. Currently, you can still do that. Currently, you can do that. You can basically, give somebody or sell somebody a certificate and say, you need to go and create an account and your own password. And then once you've done that, I have some other things that I can sell you. It's as simple as that. So, or you can transfer that to them at that point. But
It's kind of like thinking or something.
more of a package deal. You have the assets in your account to package them however you want.
You have to piecemeal it out to
I don't really know exactly how that works, but that would be a question for our IT guys. So Bill, you can talk to Bill in the back there, and he can help you with that. Yes?
Are you ever going to let us sell credits if
No.
you take a chunk of it?
That was a quick answer, wasn't it?
So I was just thinking, like, let's say I've got a friend that wants to buy 100,000 of my credits, and you get a chunk of it, say $100 or $200 or whatever.
It's not about, the answer is no, I'm not going to allow you to sell credits.
Okay.
It's not about the money. Understand that what I'm doing for you in allowing you to build up these massive amounts of assets in your account is so that you can trade them back in. You're basically demonstrating to me every time you purchase one of the offers that we provide that you are interested in at some point being part of that group that owns and operates Front Sight. It's not about giving you stuff to go out and sell. It does nothing for me for you to sell 100 credits or 1,000 credits or 10,000 credits to somebody. It's about you building up an account that has value within the Front Sight organization that you will then be rewarded when you turn it all back in. Along the way, you can sell certificates or give certificates away and sell memberships. But those credits are really, that idea is kind of the end, the end exchange, because that's what I'm going to be giving you back. Okay? So get as many of them as you can and don't worry about it. Some of you guys get all twisted. Oh, I've got millions in credits. What am I going to do with them? You're going to turn them back in and get a percentage of ownership in Front Sight. And when Front Sight's doing $200,000-$300,000 a day at one location, over the course of a year, it's $70-80 million a year. You're going to have a percentage of that, whatever that profit is. So that's the best use, long term, of those credits.
Have you ever thought of setting a minimum value to a membership or a certificate? I'm sure you know there are many members selling on eBay, just devaluing our membership.
Okay, let me address that. We probably kicked out and confiscated the assets of at least 50 members who do exactly what you're saying. That, they're selling memberships, public media, like on eBay. We have an entire team at Front Sight that's all they do is hunt these people down. And it literally is, you got to hunt them down. Because they're using, fake names and doing all kinds of stuff. And I'll get somebody who will email me a complaint. Hey, this guy, these memberships are for sale on, at this location. And I'll forward it to our team, and I'll get an email back, and they say, yeah, we've been working to get this guy for about a month. He's pretty tricky. But eventually they get him. So we don't set a minimum price, because that essentially would be price fixing, and that's not legal. But we tell you, you can sell them for whatever you want. You just can't put them in any public media. So if you find that people are out there selling memberships in public media, send us an email, and our team is like Nazi hunters, man. They're going after them, and they're finding them, and they get, we take them out of the organization because they're hurting the members, they're hurting the organization. Yes.
Do you perform security checks on people who apply to take class at Front Sight? And has that changed over time?
I think your question, I can barely hear you back there, but I think your question is, do we perform background checks on everybody that comes out and takes the class?
Yes, and has that procedure changed over time?
That procedure was implemented, the criminal background check procedure was implemented after 9/11, and we continue to do it, and we will continue to do it. How many of you have never been out to take a class at Front Sight or applied to take a class? Raise your hands. Okay, just a few of you. Okay, so you're familiar with the procedure. Yeah, we will continue to require criminal background check, require you to get somebody who's known you for 5 years, that's not a member of your family, to state that you're a good character, and that you sign a statement of no criminal history, mental illness, or substance abuse. And then once you come to Front Sight, believe me, the instructors have been trained to look for aberrant behavior at Front Sight, and if we hear or see anything that doesn't follow along the lines of the type of person that we want to train in the use of deadly force with a firearm, we will escort you off the facility and you'll never come back. And we've done that a few times. Every year it happens. Somebody comes out there that doesn't use good judgment while they're at Front Sight, and they're no longer coming back. We want to run a tight ship. We want to be responsible people with firearms. We want to set the proper example for Americans and America. This is what a Front Sight graduate is all about. Yes?
With many of the higher level memberships, they are, you can will it to an area, but what about the other assets, such as, your villas and...
Yeah, the question is, the higher level memberships allow you to will your membership to an heir, but what about all the assets you've accumulated in your account? Those all get willed as well. You will it to an individual, and how they distribute it is up to them. If you have a trust or something like that, you can will it to the trust, so the trustee then distributes it. We just want to know who's it going to go to, and at that point, they do whatever they want with it. And I think your membership now account actually has a line in there where you can decide who it is right now, and that way you can play, one child against the other. Right now you're getting all this, but yeah.
On willing it, do they already have to be a member?
No, they do not have to be a member. If you can put somebody on there that you're giving it to that's not a member yet. They will be a member at some point. Yes. I'm sorry, say it again.
Are you able to split it between two people? I believe you were saying before, it was asking that you split between two siblings than the one account.
Oh, can you name two people in it? No, they're just the single line for the one person. But then your will or your trustee would then decide where all the assets are going to go. We just want to make sure that it goes to somebody. It's just not sitting there. Yeah.
It's been stated for some time that going to take hopefully 18 months to finish the resort.
Well, we're much lower than 18 at this point, but yeah.
Is it possible to translate what it currently is expected of when the will is actually started?
Oh yeah. Okay. This is. I answered this yesterday. That's why you weren't here yesterday. Okay. The timeline on the construction. We have about another 4 to 6 months for the grading of about 124 acres, which is the rest of the resort. Then there's going to be all the infrastructure. That's where the trenching, where all the water, power, and sewer gets laid. That's going to be, again, about another 3 or 4 months after that. And that's when we start going vertical. Vertical construction will happen relatively fast compared to everything else. So you're looking at anywhere from 4 to 6 months for everything. But we'll have some of those vacation club villas ready because we're doing initially 200 of them. But as they're released, we'll then notify everybody. First, on the first in, will be the first to be notified. So if you were early on in securing your vacation club villa reservations, you'll be the first to be notified. Did that answer for you?
So that's approximately good.
Okay, if we add it up, 4 to 6 months on the grading, 3 to 4 months on the infrastructure, what is that? Okay, and then another 6 months. So it's under 18, it's somewhere around 16, but those first sets of villas will occur well before that 6 months is ended. So it could be as early as a year.
How long is it likely to be until the have all these villas?
I would imagine it to be that 6 month time frame. Okay. Yes?
And any of us who are members, anything that we encourage the president and his to take advantage of private training.
The question is, could we as an organization do anything to encourage the president and his family to take private training? The answer is no. And the reason for that is Trump's 2 sons are avid gun enthusiasts, big time hunters. They really don't need, to come to Frontside. And certainly if they wanted that type of training, they have, the federal government's training facilities and the Secret Service and everybody else at their beck and call. So certainly Eric has contacted me a couple of times when he's been in Las Vegas on other business and said, hey, let's get together and do some shooting out at Frontside. I said, yeah, let's do that. And then, just the kind of a schedule that family has. A lot of times plans are made and then they have to be changed because at the last minute something occurs, and that's happened twice. So, but no, me contacting Trump and his kids and saying, hey, we'll provide you with private training out at Frontside, they would politely say, well, thank you very much, but they have everything that they need. Yes.
Out of curiosity, the Frontside attendees have really impacted the little town of Toronto. Once everything gets going on the compound, how is Frontside going to maintain a good relationship with those towns?
Okay, well, let's first not call Frontside a compound. Let's call Frontside a resort, because that's what it is, right? And secondly, Frontside has been very, very good to Nye County and the town of Pahrump. The reason we've been good, the town of Pahrump actually hired a consultant to come out, and they spent a considerable amount of money asking this consultant what could they do to improve business and everything in Pahrump. And the consultant came back to them and said, there's really only 2 things that you can do. that will make the greatest impact, and that's support everything that Front Sight does and everything that Spring Mountain Raceway does, because those two entities are responsible for bringing, $40 to $60 million a year into Pahrump. Now, the problem with that is that was done several years ago, and since that time there's been, a revolving door of officials in Nye County and Pahrump. But I think everybody recognizes that we're one of the largest employers, and that people actually moved Pahrump to be close to Front Sight so they can take courses or become an instructor, whatever it might be. So they certainly recognize that we are a significant good neighbor to them. The fact that we would get bigger and bigger and have the vacation club and the RVs, that really doesn't negatively impact them at all, other than traffic. See, they want us to pay for a big traffic study, and our response, because they need to find out how is this going to impact Pahrump, and our response is, it's going to impact you by the fact that people aren't going to be driving in to your location anymore. So that actually is less wear and tear on the road. So why don't you refund us some money instead of asking us to give you more money because of the traffic issues? So that's really the only thing. It may hurt Pahrump a little bit because you won't be staying in their hotels and you won't be doing all the things that they're doing. But overall, just the general consensus with everything that's going on at Front Sight and Spring Mountain Raceway, it's good for the town of Pahrump. Okay. Yes.
Historically, we are like to sell or gift our memberships and our list, things like this. Have you had any large groups that have come together, like somebody's own additional guard group or something like that? 100 people that come together as a group because they've all been given certificates.
Yeah, the question is, do we have large groups that come together and come to Front Sight? Yeah, I received an email from somebody the other day, I don't recall his name, but he's bringing 75 people to Front Sight. And many of them have taken the 4-day handgun course before, and I guess he was coming on a weekend where he was looking for a different type of course, and he said, can we offer a shotgun or a rifle course? And I referred him to our operations staff and said, normally we don't change the schedule at all, but if you're bringing 50 or 40 people that want to take a specific class, if they can work it out, they can set that up. But that happens quite often, where we get large groups of people coming out. Yeah. And we have a number of members that are doing, making concerted efforts to break into other demographics. One of the gentlemen is back here, and you can talk to him, but he's reaching out to influencers in the social media arena that are pro-gun and arranging trips where people will actually come out to meet their social media favorite who's taking a course at Front Sight. And this is good because it's reaching a demographic that is slightly different than what we have. We're also right now in the process of securing some different opinion leaders and celebrities that will be promoting Front Sight. And some of those are in the gaming industry. My son the other day told me that like 90 million people in this country play this Fortnite game. Anybody know anything about Fortnite?
No.
Yeah, see, nobody raises their hands because we're all dinosaurs in here, right? Myself included. Yeah, and so that got me thinking, 90 million people, and it's a game with shooting, And this kind of goes right back to what I talked about in terms of all coming together as one. There are a number of things that could really be done right now if 200,000 people could all come together as one for one particular project.